A big victory this week for California parents as a federal judge strikes down a policy keeping secrets from parents in school districts. But not to be undone, California Democrat legislators are plotting to pass legislation that would strip parents of their rights. Coming up, we'll tell you what's going on, what the court ruling really means, and how you can join the fight to defend kids and support parents' rights. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California, and the debate continues to rage in our state as to whether left-wing activists can basically infiltrate classrooms, presenting controversial sex ed curriculum and exposing kids to concepts without authorization or the knowledge of their parents. The latest fight has been these parent right to know policies. A number of school districts have been approached by parents who are concerned about policies to keep secrets from parents, and they've asked school board members to pass a policy clarifying that parents cannot be kept in the dark, that teachers are supposed to disclose to parents what's going on with their kids. Now, the media, of course, has not been fair about this debate whatsoever. Neither have the liberal politicians that are trying to back policies to keep parents out of the equation. The media says that these policies are the, quote, forced outing of children. That is not at all what is happening here. The policies simply say that parents of these children have a right to know if their child is struggling with their gender identity or their sexual orientation. It is a right to know policy. There's no public outing. And teachers are not dumb. Parents are not evil. The conversation will likely go along the lines of, hey, just wanted to give you a heads up that your kid is starting to explore some different concepts about their orientation or their gender identity. That's what an adult conversation looks like. And unless you buy into the liberal media's notion and the Democrat notion that parents somehow are inherently homophobic and evil and a danger to their kids, parents' right to know policies are the best thing for kids. When kids are struggling, they need the love and the support of their parents. And parents don't really know how to give love and support if they don't know what's really going on with their kid. That's why transparency is so important. And even if you want to debate whether a parent should know, the reality is this: the U.S. Constitution doesn't make it a debate. The parents have inherent constitutional rights to know about what's going on with their children and to govern the affairs of their children. Well, in California, there's a little bit of a mess going on. And so as these policies have been implemented, Attorney General Rob Bonta and the Democrats have sued to get an injunction blocking the parent right to know policies. And about 3 weeks ago, you will know I brought your attention to a really disappointing decision by a state judge. So this is a state judge, state courts. State judges are appointed by the California politicians who are liberal. A state judge issued an injunction on September 6th blocking Chino Valley Unified School District from implementing a policy for parents' right to know. And the judge in this case, Thomas Garza, he astounded me, not only because he got the law wrong and issued a really bad ruling that hurts kids and violates parents' rights, but he literally in his courtroom, and this was back in the early part of September 6th is when this went down, he said that he didn't even bother reading the school district's legal brief. He didn't bother reading any of the supporting documents submitted by parents' rights organizations. Boy, that really gives me confidence that your ruling is fair and balanced. He basically sided with the Democrat Attorney General, Rob Bonta, and said that, parents are inherent dangers. He's going to err on the side of protecting children from the danger that might be posed by a parent if they somehow knew that their kid was struggling with identity issues, and that he would strike down the district's ability to enforce the policy. An atrociously wrong, legally flawed decision by this judge, and frankly, this judge needs to be recalled from office. But that's state court. What trumps state court? Federal court. Because a separate case was brought in Escondido, the Escondido Union School District. And there, a federal judge, Roger Benitez, issued an injunction against the Escondido Union School District, basically saying that they're not allowed to keep secrets from parents. And remember, this judge, Roger Benitez, is a federal judge, and his ruling is going to trump the state ruling. He basically writes, quote, "The school's policy is a trifecta of harm. It harms the child who needs parental guidance and possible mental health intervention to determine if the incongruence is organic or whether the result of bullying, peer pressure, or fleeting impulse. It harms parents by depriving them of the long recognized 14th Amendment right to care, guide, and make healthcare decisions for their children. And finally, it harms plaintiffs who are compelled to violate the parents' rights by forcing plaintiffs to conceal information they feel is critical for the welfare of their students, violating plaintiffs' religious beliefs." The case was actually brought by two awesome teachers in Escondido who said, "I don't want to keep secrets from parents. It's not good for the children. It's not good for the parents. It doesn't fit what I believe is right and morally acceptable." And the judge on all of those counts said that the Constitution would bar school districts from violating parents' right to know. And it was a beautiful decision. Now, the media didn't make a whole big deal about this decision, even though it just came down this week, and it is quite remarkable. It also is grounded in almost a century of federal case law that the U.S. Supreme Court, liberal courts, conservative courts have all come to the same conclusion that parents have a right to know about what's going on with their kids, and they have a right to govern the affairs of their children. Let me read off some of these cases because you won't hear about this from the liberal media. The case law is overwhelmingly in favor of parents' rights. Meyer versus Nebraska, 1923. Pierce versus Society of Sisters, 1925. Skinner versus Oklahoma, 1942. Wisconsin versus Yoder, 1972. Parham versus JR, 1979. HL versus Matheson, 1981. Troxel versus Granville, 2000. All of these cases, across a multitude of different philosophies on the U.S. Supreme Court, all of them said that parents have a right to know, and parents have fundamental civil rights protected under the 14th Amendment to ensure the proper upbringing of their children. That they should be the deciders, not government, not some school district, and certainly not some left-wing lunatic organization. You will not hear about these court cases from the LA Times, the Union Tribune, the San Francisco Chronicle, or any other liberal California media outlet because they want to gaslight people. They want people to think as though parents are in the wrong, parents are breaking the law, parents are violating civil rights, when in fact it's the California politicians that are inherently violating the civil rights, the 14th Amendment constitutionally protected rights of parents. And I would go even further. They're putting these kids at risk. These kids have a lot on their plate. If they are struggling with their gender identity, if they are struggling with their sexual orientation, they need the love and the support of their parents, and parents need to be informed about this. That doesn't mean that a parent's going to sit down and say, let's pray the gay away. That is so fringe. And might I add that we already have ample laws on the books to prevent child abuse. If a parent's not doing something right, we have child protective services. So that's already on the books. But to assume that all parents somehow are fundamentally going to be evil or hateful to kids struggling with these issues, it is just so lunacy. It is so disrespectful. It is hateful. It has a hateful underpinning, a hateful review of where parents are. And it does put these kids at risk because it isolates them from the support structure that they should have at home. Look, I believe that liberal Democrats are trying to create controversy here because if you actually weren't distracted by this issue, you might be pretty angry about the latest round of test scores showing that 2/3 of California kids are failing basic proficiencies. Yeah, they're playing the shiny object distraction games because they know they have failed these kids in so many ways. Oh, and yes, I have no doubt that with these left wing fringe organizations, these political organizations like HRC and GLSEN, these organizations that are trying to get into the classroom, get access to our kids, they're pushing a political agenda and they're pushing a social agenda that's not, um, it's not their right. That's the right of parents to decide. And so this is a great court decision. Now, I said that the legislators are going to try to push back. Here's Politico from today. The trans bill that wasn't, there's some weirdo with a COVID mask on. Someone might want to update him on what's really a risk in society these days. Anyway, it says the buzz. California LGBTQ lawmakers are on a beat to fine tune their response to school boards adopting policies that could out transgender kids. Do you see the inherent dishonesty with that line? Outing transgender kids. Nobody's outing anyone. We're sharing confidentially with the parent what they have a right to know about their private information, their private family information. And these media outlets are just absolutely atrociously biased. And they're the ones, again, dividing us with their agenda. And whenever they write this, they're taking a side. Make no mistake about it. Politico is taking a side, and they're taking the wrong side legally. They are taking the wrong side when it comes to our kids. Anyway, the article goes on to say that the LGBTQ caucus is spending the next few months working on legislation and doing polling to see how they can bamboozle the voters into thinking what they're doing is actually wholesome or good. They say countering legislation to counter what has become a pet cause of conservative school boards. A pet cause? Wait. So standing up for constitutional rights is somehow a pet cause? Shame on you, Politico. I mean, come on, cut out the crap, the gaslighting, the unfair and pejorative coverage. Pet cause, standing up for these kids and making sure that their parents know what's going on while they're having a troubling time, that is the right cause. And you're on the wrong side of history. But again, I don't think you care about the kids or good journalism. You're there to shill and advance a radical political agenda. Just shameful. Anyway, the article goes on to say that they're going to be passing legislation very soon to go after these school boards. So I encourage you, help us at Reform California spread the word about this great court ruling. Make sure people know that the law is on their side. I want to also let you know that maybe we need more lawsuits against school districts that violate parents' rights. Paul Jana was the attorney, the constitutional attorney who fought the Escondido Union School District and won. He says, quote, in light of our major federal court win last week, the state of California and all school districts are on notice that policies that require teachers to hide information from parents about their students' gender identity violate the U.S. Constitution. Any school district or state agency or official that enforces these policies going forward does so at their own risk and a major taxpayer expense. We have about 850 hours in the Mirabelli versus Olson case, which is the Escondido case. And the latest rate the state was ordered to pay our firm was over $1,200. It's a lot of money, a lot of taxpayer money. But again, liberals don't care about your money. They care about their radical left-wing agenda. We have to take this issue to the courts. We have to file suit time and time again and force these politicians to respect the constitutional rights of parents and take care of these kids. But we also need to throw these extremist politicians out of office and elect good school board members. So go to supportcaparents.org. That's supportcaparents.org. Join the campaign to recruit better school board members and to oppose state legislators who continually pass legislation statewide to undermine parents' rights and to put crap in the classroom that kids should have no access to. Go to supportcaparents.org. Chip in a contribution, please. Join the Parents Coalition in your area. We have a parent coalition that we're putting together in every district across California. We need your leadership and your involvement. So become a member of a parent coalition or chip in a contribution today. Plus, like and subscribe to this channel. Help us get information to you on a daily basis that you won't get from the liberal media. We have to fight the censorship of California media outlets. Share this video, obviously, with your friends. Comment in the section below on what you're seeing in your area, in your school district. Until next time, Carl DeMaio with Reform California. Thanks for watching. Help us break through the censorship of the liberal media by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribe to my YouTube channel.